drive from the outside perspective now and get ourselves back downhill. I think I'm just about done showing you this section. Give you a pretty good idea what we're looking at, though. There we go. Downhill maniac. Gonna lose control of his truck. I think what really makes this... Tear away the door. Now, starting in version 18, they let you use flying glass. Oh, the other thing you can do in this version, of course, once you lay down your skid marks, you can't bring it up. But one of the things they'll let you do, I want to show you this real quick, is you can turn up your skid marks. There is a control that allows you to change the thickness of the tire marks, user interface. Graphics. I think it's in the graphics. Yes. Tire mark amount, 4,000. But the fact, I think you have to have already had it set ahead of time to a higher number. Otherwise, it can't make the tire skid marks too bright. But you notice if you turn it down, those are going to completely disappear. It defaults at 4,000, and they warn you that if it's set to higher than 4,000, that it will, your computer CPU will take a hit. So anyway, kind of like how my truck took a hit. But we will clean that up. Don't you wish you could just hit insert and clean up your car if it's been in an accident? Yeah, that would be nice. One thing you'll notice is that the changes sort of freshen up the map and make it seem new again. The improvements. And they say that they have optimized the game so that it actually runs a little better than it did beforehand. I think I've noticed some improvement. Now bear in mind, if you put 10 AI cars on the map, it's probably not going to bode well for you, but hey, look at this. This looks new. I have not seen this before. I'll tell you what, I don't have time to look for the correct roads, so we're going to cheat and climb. Cheat and climb. Look at that. There we go. That's the road I wanted to get to and didn't. And now, look at that. Ooh, yeah, check that out. That is the Firwood Inn, the ultimate Airbnb, complete with, looks like they're growing something. Looks like they're growing vegetables. Look at that. Corn or something. And they're growing something inside the tents. Beautiful vacation home. Yeah. I like it. I wonder if you can see anything on the inside. Nope. Nope. They did a pretty good job creating a three-dimensional interior for the shops, but they didn't do the same for the private dwellings. But I do love that wraparound porch with the tables outside. Perfect for sipping your morning coffee or tea or whatever you prefer to drink when you first wake up. And nice second-story view, skylights. Yeah, they did a good job. And the other thing I like is the texturing for the fences. Added new fence texturing and fence designs. I thought that was thought that was done very well. Where that bus stop is, turn right in here, and this is the Sawmill area, and you can see that it's changed quite a bit. You can kind of see how it used to look. It has hints of the look of old, but you can now drive through things, and and it's set up like a figure 8. So you can now get squirrely and hit stuff and take a jump up over to here, jump down, get all crazy like I'm doing right now. And well, if you're not careful, see, it would have helped if I knew what the course was like. But I didn't know what the course was supposed to do. See, that was not indicative of expert driving in any way, shape, or form. And put it over there. Ooh, ouch. Not good. Not good. As I leave my tailgate behind, and it looks like I'm going to smash into more, because enough isn't enough. So to give you an idea of how things have changed compared to what they were like before, I have to catch my bearings. Okay, this was the old dirt entrance. The extent was here. This was a dirt road here. As I had alluded to earlier, in version 16, the extent of the sawmill was all this over here. The old dirt road cut through here, and this was the grass patch that was separate and away from it all that I said they would include and make a figure 8 out of it. And as you can see, I was not too far from being somewhat accurate. The only problem is you have to know how to navigate it all and work your way around it. I'm gonna do a quick buzz around, make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to show you real quick. South Bridge, final outlet. This is where I went underwater. Remember, I came through here and I said, oh, look at that. There's 2 waterfalls. There's the waterfall on the low end. Remember when I came through here and I said, doesn't look like much of a waterfall, maybe they're in drought? Well, they put a waterfall there. And you can still see the dead tree leaning over at an angle. And then I came up here, 45-degree angle. I said six one way, half dozen the other, left or right, take your pick. And that's the one to the left. There's one we bypassed, and I want to show you it real quick. Okay, here we go. The Southeast Bridge out of town, and look at this. Oh, you can even hear it too. Oh, special effects abound. Oh, look at that. Look at that particle. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Follow the waterfall right up to the top, and you can see where it comes out through the storm grate. I like that. You can actually look in there and see the waterfall. Now, is it on the other side? Oh, yes, it is. At some point, I think it comes to a stop. Spray as it goes downhill, further down, and then I think it stops. You're not supposed to ask where it came from after this. So here we are. This is the default pickup truck, and we're at the gas station. I want to talk about electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging stations. We do fine on gasoline, but it's time to move on and consider our alternative fuels that are better for the planet in the 21st century. Let us go over to where I believe the electric vehicle charging stations are, if my memory serves me correctly. And from there, you will also see some of the cars that have been added to the game that also run on electricity. There they are. And you can see that the demand is getting higher than it used to be. This particular day, all 4 slots are taken up. We have a Hiroshi ESPR. It's the SBR electric version, 500 series. That's the middle of the road as far as speed and quality goes, we got the Charrier Vivace, which is the newest French European release of cars that were released December of last year, 2019. I think actually maybe that was more of a spring release now that I think about it. Last December with the Jeeps. Here's another one, the 300. And here's the top of the line, the 800 with his unique personalized license plate, What's Up? Kind of clever. So let's move over to the charging stations and see exactly what we got. These are charge-in machines, and the light's green if the charge is available. If the vehicle itself is charging, it's blue, and then I guess it turns yellow when the charge is complete. They have both right hand and left hand, depending upon which side your charging door is. Let's come on inside and see what we have as far as the display. And you can see it's kind of like driving your cell phone. 100% charge. So this really doesn't need to be here. It's just for show, so I can show you what it's all about. And you can calculate, or it calculates on its computer, the expected range based upon how you're driving. Obviously, the harder you push it, the more electricity you're going to go through faster. The current that is being drawn and the average current being drawn. And those are electric cars for you. And the city has grown up and has decided to get with the times. It'll probably take us a while, or take Firwood a while, to get to the point where everything is electric and gas stations are eventually phased out. Probably outside of my lifetime. Now, in the meantime, this brings to light an interesting point, and that is there's how many people in this town, and probably around the rest of Maine and around the rest of the country, and you're seeing only 4 receptacles represented. All the spaces are accounted for. So we talk about, obviously we tote the importance of bringing electricity into the mainstream. But before we do so, there's 2 major things we need to consider. One, are there enough charging stations to go around? Are they close enough to make a network for people to use them readily, so they're not driving out of their range or running out of charge before they get to the next one? And more importantly, how much are they stressing the ISO grid? Our electric grid is already aged and delicate. How much stress can these wires and the overall electric grid itself handle the great demand for electric vehicle charging when it becomes more mainstream? So that's the story with that. And the final thing I'd like to discuss tonight is sun position. And normally it's something most people don't talk about, though I have to bring it up because to me it is just so obviously misplaced. And we start off with an assumption that north is up, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now we zoom out and the pickup truck is facing due north. The shadows are being cast south because the sun is in the northern sky, which clearly is not correct for the state of Maine. If we were to look up from behind the pickup truck, we can see that the sun is offset by a few degrees left of due north. Assuming, looking at the compass, that the truck is facing due north, and we draw a line straight up from the center of the license plate through the handle of the tailgate, through the third brake light and up, our north line in the clouds is about there, probably about there where my arrow is, and the sun is off about 17 or 18 degrees left of due north. So what does that tell us? It tells us that it's afternoon by about a factor of 34 minutes if we assume due north is 12 noon. And I'll tell you what, that's great if we're in Australia or South America or anywhere else in the southern hemisphere, South Africa, but doesn't work too well in Maine. Doesn't work in Maine at all. And this particular issue is born from several things. One, I don't think people really care. Aside from that, though, even if they did care, the engine that's used to project the sun and the sun's path in the game is severely limited. Torque 3D, the program required to run the world editor, does not have the ability to delineate date and month and time of year and time of day to create a proper sun path in the sky. And nor does it have the ability to concretely determine location on the Earth's surface via latitude and longitude. So in other words, we imagine this to be Maine, but there's no way to squarely differentiate it from, say, Hawaii, which obviously is much further south, and the sun's path through the sky would be much different in Hawaii than it is in Maine. So really, what does all this mean? It just means it's put in the wrong place, and for those of us like myself who navigate via the sun, when they made the change from version 16 to 17, and the sun went from being in, say, this part of the sky over to here, it was a huge difference. So to put it in its proper perspective, if we were to use the same time of day of 0.03, which roughly translates to 3 14-minute segments after 12 noon, 12:38, like I said. I think I had it written down over here, 12:43 p.m. with the sun on an axis tilt of positive 31 in the north direction. Let's open up the world editor. And right on cue, there it is for me. All right. So there we go. The axis tilt is positive 31. I'm going to put it to negative 31. And this is really how it should look. And there. Now look at this. The sun is behind the pickup truck. Truck's still facing due north. At some later point in time, I'll go more into sun studies. A south sun shortly after 12 noon should be casting shadows in the direction of the truck, and the shadow should be cast in front of the truck, not behind it, if it's facing north. And at about 12 noon, it should have its back facing the sun. In other words, from the driver's perspective, sun should be coming in through the back window or close to it, or hitting his dashboard from behind. So I wish at some point, in conclusion of covering East Coast USA and the changes that were made in version 17, that maybe they can, like Flight Simulator, gain the ability to use latitude and longitude, as well as time of the year and time of day, to demarcate exact and proper sun path, not only the path throughout the day, but specific position for a time of day. Anyway, glad you could join me for version 17 East Coast USA. This is going to get broken up. Part 3, we're going to take a look at Hirochi Raceway, and then we're going to take a look at Derby USA. So thank you for sticking with me through the remainder of East Coast USA. And for now, I'm B3 Burner, and I'll catch you the next time around. Thank you. Goodbye.